Come on now. You already know what this is. First things first, God did this. Don't get mad with us. I'm your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we got the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel, and that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Hey, look, we talked about a lot of great things on nighttime the other day, and you know how that was with AEW. But now we gotta talk about some things that happened with WWE. And honestly, wasn't too bad. This really wasn't too bad. Wasn't bad. Is Zach here? Did Zach drop something? Yes, he did. What is it today? Happy National Bacon Day. That's good because I had
That
me a
is good.
brunch burger today with some bacon, so
There we
I
go.
fulfilled the prophecy.
There we go. Nice to have you in here again, Zach. Coming through as usual.
As usual. Thanks, man. We always appreciate it.
The
Well,
true
let's
man,
go.
myth, and legend here, huh?
Hey, that's it. Zach with the national dates of every single episode. We can always count on Zach. Oh man. But let's go ahead and kick it off with the 2 hours and 30 minutes of fire with Monday Night Raw, baby. Ah, man. This was the Raw after the Clash at Paris. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Clash wasn't bad. Okay. John Cena went crazy with Logan Paul. One thing about John Cena lately, he's been really kind of pulling out all stops. It's almost like he's trying to tap back into that 2015 John Cena. But of course they ran back, what happened with Clash. And again, at Raw, they were in Paris again. And I ain't gonna lie, that crowd was lit. I'd be capping if I said they wasn't. But of course, they started it off with my man, yeah, LA Knight, okay, and the Yeet man himself, Jay Uso. And of course, they're both talking about how they should have been champion, how it should have been them. LA Knight talking about he doesn't have much time left, and he's very much overdue to have a title. Okay, Jey Uso talks about his involvement. And honestly, LA Knight even questioned why Jay was there. Jay even said, the reason why I'm here is because what they did to my cousin, what they did to my family. Family comes first. I said, okay, Jay, I feel that. And he justified as to why his place, why he was in the fatal four-way. Okay, then we flash forward to Braun Breaker and Bronson Tsunami Reed, the tribal thief, the man with the Shula, well, not even the Shula File no more. The man just the tribal thief. But they come out and they talk to Jay, they talk to LA Knight, they pretty much talk about their dominance and the vision and how the vision isn't foreseen to have Roman Reigns in it. Or neither one of these two. And I said, man, y'all diabolical for this. But of course, what happens, it leads to them challenging both of them to a tag team match. LA Knight and Jey Uso. And of course, Jey Uso and LA Knight, they accept the challenge. And honestly, this is what sets up for the main event, Monday Night Raw. Wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. But then we flash forward to one of my favorite parts here. And I mean, truly my favorite part right here. The New Day having a funeral for the tag team division, man. Look, they was talking about so many things. Talking about how they dropped, okay? How they legitimately dropped the big E. And so did Adam Pearce. And that E was efficiency. I said, man, y'all are cooking with this one, boy. But then even one thing that I thought was so good, okay? It was so good. You got to look at this full circle moment. The New Day were literally, when they started, they were preachers. These men were telling a whole sermon right here, preaching. Right here. I mean, you heard the gospel singers singing in the background. This was so good. 12 minutes of greatness. I love this. Then we flash forward to the match with Finn Balor and Dragon Lee. Now, of course, this was the banger. Crowd was going crazy for Finn. You know how they feel about Finn. Finn, when you go with Finn, you always win. Now, I'm not gonna lie. One interesting thing with Adam Pearce, he tried to say that, that the Judgment Day was banned for helping, for Dirty Dom his match later on that night. But the funny thing is about Finn, man, Finn had that smirk. Finn had that smile. And something's up with Finn. But then we flash forward to this six-man tag team match with Penta and the War Raiders going up against the New Day, and of course Big G, of course, as we know, is Grayson Waller. And honestly, this was another banger. Okay, of course, Penta. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. Penta's just kind of just in the mix right now. I'm grateful to see that Penta's doing something, but yeah, man, I don't know. This is we gotta do something for my man Penta. Then we flash forward to this greatness of a match right here. Of course, it would not be greatness when you have the greatest Intercontinental of all time, the greatest Guerrero of all time, the greatest Mysterio of all time. Okay, even the greatest, may possibly some people may say the greatest Judgment Day member of all time, Dirty Dom. Okay, and then you got the greatest luchador of all time, El Grande Americano, helping
Hey.
Dirty Dom, okay, headbutting AJ Styles with that metal steel plate, okay, helping Dirty Dom getting that win. Of course, Dirty Dom goes up for the frog splash, gets the pin over AJ Styles. He gets the dub, man. Honestly, this was a great match. Of course, it was a banger. Then we flash forward to another banger of a tag team match with the Kabuki Warriors going up against the Judgment Day. Of course, y'all know Raquel Rodriguez, okay, and Roxanne Perez. Honestly, this was another banger. But the funny thing about this, before this match happened, okay, Io Sky seeing Asuka and Kairi saying, Io said, hey, if y'all want me out here, I'll go out there and help y'all. Asuka said, thanks, but no thanks. We got this. And honestly, she meant that. She stood on business when she said that. And you can tell because she made Roxanne Perez tap. And honestly, this whole thing that they got with Io and Asuka, look, if y'all gonna, make something out of this, I ain't gonna lie. If y'all gonna drag this till Mania, we'll see. But you know what? Who knows? That could be the direction they're gonna go with. So we'll see what happens. Then we flash forward to the man, Becky Lynch. I'm kind of mad I ain't put on my Becky Lynch shirt on today, man. Honestly, I've been saying this in TikTok panels. I've been saying this for the last few weeks. Y'all notice Becky has been killing it. Okay, she's the greatest wrestler of all time. She's not just saying it. Other people are saying it. Sports Illustrated said it. Probably one of my favorite lines ever when she says that. But this was good. Okay, slapping CM Punk around. CM Punk telling Becky, get the hell out of my face. Seth is a coward. He's hiding behind his wife. It comes to the point where, Becky starts slapping Punk, saying, what you about to do? What are you about to do? Punk said, you know what? You're about to regret that. And we'll see what happens with that from later on this week. Then we flash forward to the main event. Okay. And we knew this was going to happen because honestly, these men have been, honestly, when do these men not win a match when they're the main events? And I'm talking about Braun Breaker and Bronson Tsunami Reed, the tribal thief. Honestly, these guys went up against Jay Uso and LA Knight, but Braun getting the dub over Jay and LA Knight. Then after that, Braun literally spearing the hell out of Jey Uso. They beat the hell out of LA Knight, put him through the table. Okay, Bronson Tsunami Reed comes up, hits Jey Uso with a couple of tsunamis, and then who comes in? That man, Big Jim. Okay, I guess since Naomi's gone, she wants to be pregnant. I guess Big Jim done took her spot on the Monday Night Raw roster. I guess this makes sense for me. Hey, we got to give Big Jim something. I'm all for it. Big Jim comes in with the big save. And of course, he's going to sit there, help Jay out. And this is the finish right here. Not going to lie, man. Not going to lie. Honestly, hands down, my favorite part of Monday Night Raw was literally the New Day. I mean, you gave these men 12 minutes to cook. Okay, about damn near 13. They told that story so well. Okay, showed how much they were great. Showed just the cinematic of it, man. And then of course Xavier Woods Xavier wasn't Kofi Kingston. First of all, Kofi, okay, talking about you should be thanking God for the New Day. And then, of course, Xavier, thank God. I, I think that makes me laugh so hard. Man, these guys are just really killing it. The damn titles back on them already. Matter of fact, keep the titles off of them for another month. I want to keep seeing the New Day in mourning. I legitimately love this. They are taking this character to the next level. I love what they're doing with the story. And this was good. One other thing, Becky Lynch, you're killing it. I can't tell you how much you are. Honestly, I love this new version. She's legitimately killing it. Our new theme music, I don't know, gets me hyped. She's got an aura, and I can't deny this, man. I never thought I'd be saying this about the man. If you'd have told me this 3 years ago, I couldn't see myself saying this. But to say this now in 2025, Becky, you're killing it. Frank Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think? I
Yeah.
thought I seen a Mr. Exclusive right there. The
Yeah.
legacy maker himself. There he is, boy.
E, what up? I mean, D, what up? Thanks for joining us, man.
Hey, look, I had to sneak it in. I mean, I didn't want to tell you I was going to join.
Got
On
a
purpose.
pause.
I was
That was crazy.
no, did it?
Got to sneak it in. That was insane.
Yeah, I had
First 3
to
seconds.
back door. But look, I just had to make sure that I sneak one in. You know, season start tomorrow, and I know I don't know what it's gonna look like for the next couple of months. I got a little time before the wedding today. I got to talk about the greatness that was the week of wrestling. So I got to join my guys today. Like, we in there.
We appreciate it. We appreciate it. I'm gonna keep mine pretty short and sweet. Like the main highlights that I took away from Raw that I enjoyed definitely was the New Day. The fact that they let them go for 12 minutes and just be, diabolical all the way with, the whole church setting, the urn that they brought up into the the scene, the sheer nonsense they were talking. I just enjoyed it because I've said, for a while now, at least the last couple of weeks, that I really have enjoyed the New Day and this whole their mourning thing because they've lost their titles. I enjoy the outfits that they wear each and every week to show that they're mourning. And I just think this is just a New Day being, what the New Day is, and that's greatness as a tag team. And so that was very entertaining. Kofi and Xavier just being able to put a mic in front of them and letting them go, you're going to get gold, and that's exactly what they delivered. For 12 minutes. That promo went for 12 minutes and was entertaining the entire way through. Next is, of course, Becky and CM Punk. What I enjoyed about Becky and CM Punk is what it would set up in the future. And I thought that was, very good. I wasn't a huge fan of the way Becky came out, like to kind of help Seth win. Like I thought it was a little over the top with her being dressed all up in the
black, with the hoodie
black
and
all that.
everything. Yeah.
You just could have just had her come out. I mean, it was a triple threat or whatever the match was.
No, the Fatal 4-Way. Yeah,
Fatal 4-Way. Yeah. So but it works. They still building on that story, and the fact that it led to what it led to on SmackDown, outstanding. And then lastly, Jimmy and Jay. I think this might be the beginnings of the Usos getting back together in a tag team. Just because of the fact that Jimmy comes out, Big Jim comes out to do the save for Jay. I just feel like where you got Bronson and you have Braun Breaker, you have to kind of have Jay having his brother so that they can actually go at them. In the way that we know that the Usos are, day one-ish, back together and to take on somebody like Bronson Tsunami Reed and Braun Breaker. So I think this is the beginnings of that, and I'm kind of excited to see where that story goes for them. And then LA Knight, they got to get LA Knight in some type of like title picture, man. Like, I don't know. It's tough though. Right now, it is so tough with WWE and their main card because their main title picture is stacked with people, and so it's still hard for me to figure out where LA Knight can fall in within this because CM Punk is cooking right now, and you would just think that he's next in line to kind of get that title at some point, but hopefully they figure out something with LA Knight.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Mr. Exclusive, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Oh man, it was a solid Monday Night Raw, and that's what we like to see. You know, we got to get them on that NXT standard where it's either great, it's either good, or it's great. So that's what we want. Look, I want to start off by saying the New Day, continue your masterpiece. Now, like what you're doing right now is great. What E said, which was extremely important, is the playback on what they began as. Because look, the New Day came in as heels. It was a weird way they did it, but they came in as heels. They were the church choir, all that fun stuff. I was all down for it then. I actually hated when they went face. I was like, they too cheesy now. I thought the heel version could have worked. It took 12, 13 years, but now we're finally getting a chance to see the heel version. And this is what I've always wanted to see from them. So I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing. I agree with you. They should probably let them hold off on having the belts for a little bit, and kind of milk it out a little bit. But what they're low key doing here is they're slowly finding a way to rebuild the Raw tag division, which is good. You sneak Jimmy back in here. You with the save. They've got the Bronze, who have become a little bit of a solid tag team. They've had some big matches here. Now, obviously, they won't stay the same. Is giving Evolution vibes where it was Flair and Batista, but we knew that they were destined for other things. Obviously, Flair becoming becoming Intercontinental Champion at one point, and then of course Batista becoming World Champion. And I think it'll be something like that with the Bronze. But you have the Bronze, who are a legitimate tag team, in my opinion, with the Vision, and then you got the New Day. Need I say more? And then you slowly got the Usos creeping up, and I'm like, I see what you're doing. It's a slow build, but I'm okay with that because, Judgment Day, I hate to say it, I just feel like placeholders at this point. But they're placeholders for something.
That's what Xavier said.
Yeah. They're setting up for something that could be bigger, and that is something that I like. So they keep doing that. Keep doing that Monday Night Raw. Keep doing that Adam Pearce and the crew. I love that. I also agree with you on Penta, man. Like, what's happening here? There's your other potential. Why is Ray Phoenix not on it? Because then you throw Ray Phoenix in the mix, now all of a sudden Raw's tag team division is looking like hot fire, or potentially hot fire. And then next thing you know, both tag team divisions are solid on both ends. So that's the potential they have going there. And then, the other thing for me, two things. One, Kabuki Warriors. I love heel Asuka, man. I love heel Asuka because it's like, Kyrie. I'm like, bro, just not, why you screaming Kyrie name like that? But it's funny though, and I truly enjoy it. So yeah, keep doing that, Asuka, and it's building up for Stephanie Vakir or Vakir, depending on how you like to say her name, to win the women's championship at WrestlePalooza. Wow, what a stupid name. That's such a stupid name. WrestlePalooza in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, you know how I feel about Becky. Even though she's been killing it lately, there's something that always just kind of crawl at me with her about it. But I'm one of those people that if she's killing it, it's hard for me to be like, oh, she ain't doing a good job. No, she's killing it right now. Facial expressions, emotions in the ring. She is selling her. It's been great. I agree with Hobby Prince about the fact that I didn't need her to come in and interfere in that match. Yeah. But it does give a lot of element. And obviously it did set us up great for what happened on Friday.
Yeah, I love what they did, man. It's good stuff. Good stuff from Becky, and even with the New Day, I just came to my head where I just remember when they was talking about. He said, "What self-respecting pro wrestler?" They was like, "What athlete would settle to give these cheap chicken nuggets?"
Talking about Dirty Dom.
Finn Balor hasn't had a carb in 15 years. It said, was it no honey mustard, no sweet baby Ray's? I said, oh,
no mayo.
Yeah.
Great nugget. just dry nuggets.
Man, they really took it so far, and I love what they did with that, man. It was good stuff. But yeah, man, I agree. Asuka's killing it. Love what she's doing that heel work, man. She's definitely on. It's funny though. Even thinking about like Kyrie's situation, like Kyrie's kind of just the one that's in the middle. She's just a passive aggressive. I'm sorry. I'm like, yo, Kyrie, what's going on here? It's just she don't know what she want to do. She's just on the fence. It's all right. It's all right. We're gonna love you, Kyrie, regardless. You're still killing it. Oh man. But we talked about some of the great things that happened with Monday Night Raw. Now it's time to talk about that man, Sean. Hooking it up with NXT, baby. Man, I ain't gonna lie. NXT, Sean, 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 Sean. Give this man the chef's hat because this man has been cooking up. And honestly, to start off the show with a banger, okay, you had Jada Parker. You had the big Lash
Lord.
Legends.
Whew.
Man, this was crazy. Banger of a match. I mean, you want to start off something crazy. Booker T couldn't control himself on commentary. Going crazy. Okay, you see Lash getting the dub over Jada Parker. Okay, that's cool. Jada Parker, Loki kind of shook it off, attacks Lash. Then, what's to do the damn barricade? I said, man, this is about the craziest look at the shot for the camera. That says a lot, man. It says a lot. But again, Jada Parker, don't play. And her time is coming, man. I'm telling you. But then we flash forward to Josh Briggs talking to Javon Evans. First of all, Javon Evans came out first. Okay. He felt like, he failed the fans. He felt like he just failed. He feels like, it's funny. I remember asking the OG, Big Rob. I remember asking him if Javon ever felt like he couldn't do it. And this was the moment right here. I said, Javon, this ain't you. This ain't what the OG seen in you. This ain't what the OG told us. I know this ain't you, Javon. And of course it wasn't. Because Javon at first was kind of doubting himself. But then who comes out? That man, Josh Briggs. He comes out trying to say all this stuff about Javon being soft, couldn't get the job done. I'm like, man, Josh, come on. What are you doing out here? What are you even saying right now? But that leads to Josh attacking Javon Evans and chokeslamming him, okay, through the steel chair on the edge. And honestly, they kind of have my man in the back, but that does lead to a match with him and Josh Briggs next week on NXT. Flash forward to the speed tournament that they got going on right now with Candice LeRae, okay, Candy Wrestling, and Zaya Brookside, man. And honestly, this was a good, fast match. Wasn't mad about this. Honestly, the fact that they're bringing the speed division into NXT, I don't know how to feel about this, man. I mean, I get it. Yeah, you got to do it because Sol Ruka's in the, she's the double champion right now. But I don't know. To do speed, I don't know. I'll let y'all decide on that one. Then we flash forward to, come on, man, Hollywood Trick, Two Brand Trick, First Class Trick, Trick Willie. Man, come on. I don't know how many times I got to talk about the greatness out of this man, Trick. Trick has been killing this man. Okay, still the TNA champ, killing it on TNA Impact. He's been killing it on NXT, talking his ish. Then, of course, DIY. They come out. Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling. We just seen his wife go crazy in the ring. Tommaso Ciampa, the Blackheart. Okay, everybody know how he went crazy when he had Goldie. Okay, stop playing with that man. Like we didn't see him live in person debut as the Blackheart with no music. Don't play with that man, Tommaso Ciampa. But anyway, Trick tells DIY, he's got much respect. But the accolades that they have, or that they've had, Trick has surpassed them already. Trick he says pretty much, I'm better than both of y'all. And of course, what I like what they're doing with Trick. Trick is really becoming a true heel, even though the crowd loves him. But they're doing this thing as to where Trick is going up against some of these legends. The last time was Undertaker. Undertaker chokeslammed the hell. Now, DIY. Come on. You see what happens? They done hit come on, man. They got my man Trick looking crazy. but this is good. He's a heel. Okay, he's still the champ. Okay, but I mean, I ain't gonna lie. This is happening a little often now. Trick, you gotta put a stop to this. This is insane. Then we flash forward to Jordan Grace going up against Callie Armstrong. And honestly, this was a really good match. First of all, shout out to my girl Callie. She's been killing on Evolve. All right, Evolve Women's Champion. Okay, she even cut a hell of a promo up against Jordan Grace backstage. I said, man, come on, stop playing with Callie, man. She's got it. She's got it, man. But this was a banger of a match. And of course, after Jordan Grace gets the dub, Blake Monroe comes out and starts to attack the hell out of Jordan Grace to the point to where they had security having to break it up. I mean, Blake had a little bit of a bloody nose, but hey, man, look, this rivalry is really starting up something, but we know what they want. They want that title. Then we flash forward to this man, Josh Briggs, going up against Andre Chase. Now, I ain't gonna lie, man. I've been lost hope my man Andre Chase since he lost Chase U. Actually, probably before that, since he gambled it all and lost everybody. You know what I'm saying? It is, but hey, Andre Chase is still doing what he does best, losing. So, I mean, at this point, Josh Briggs gets the dub over Andre Chase. And then Josh Briggs goes crazy. Literally chokes the hell out of Connors. I mean, just puts him through the table. I mean, I said, man, and of course they're talking about it, like, Vic Joseph talking about, Josh Briggs talking about, putting down Javon, putting down Chase. I said, man, come on, stop giving Josh Briggs all that credit like he like that. He ain't like that. Okay. Then we flash forward to this tag team match with Obafemi, Ricky Saints, okay, and Hank and Tank going up against Darkseid. Now, what happened between this, okay, even before this happened, okay, Obafemi and Ricky Saints, they were killing in this tag team match. But then, of course, Oba takes, I believe it was that man, my man Sugar, Saquon. Yeah, there he is. That's his name. But he takes Saquon and he tosses him into Ricky Saints. And then after that, Ricky, of course, takes that personal, and Oba and Ricky start brawling all the way to the point they get to the backstage. Then it's just Hank and Tank. Now they're trying to do their best. Now at this point, they're trying to get as much adrenaline pumping and getting the crowd going as much as they can. Okay. Curtis grabs Hank, literally tells them, you guys have nothing. You guys have no help. And of course, what happens? He yells, Joe Hendry, and when you say his name, he does appear. Helps Hank and Tank with the distraction. Hank and Tank hit their finisher, and honestly, this was just a great thing to see from these guys actually still getting the dub over Darkseid. And honestly, and this was the finish right here. Yeah, man. Look, I ain't gonna lie, Sean. You did your thing. I didn't have a disappointing thing about this show. Honestly, you never do disappoint when it comes to this. Good or great. Great, the best. The best. Perfect. At this point, these are just your accolades. These are your standards. I never see I never see, and I damn sure never see, yeah, nah. That's not you, Sean. I like how you keep the standard high. And this is great, though. I love what they're doing. Trick, again, you're killing it. What can I say? Young OG, look, I don't give a damn what Josh Briggs was talking about. Take him down immediately. You know what time it is, man. Show him show how bouncy you get. Okay? Pause. In some ways, you know what I'm talking about. That being said, it would be criminal if I ain't talk about that first match. First of all, Jada and the big Lash herself, Lash Legends, man. Look, they killed that. That was a great way to start the show off. I wonder, what are we doing with Jada? So even though Jada did lose to Lash, what is the stature or the what's the next step for Jada? Because even though she lost to Lash, and of course Lash, hey, you got the dub over Jada, so still, however you're going to be moving, you're still climbing to the top. You're still getting those dubs, okay? But for Jada, I ain't gonna lie, I think this is another L she done took, but she still looks strong regardless. This is probably the only girl I have seen, or wrestlers I've seen, I ain't gonna say the only one, but we're looking at somebody right now that regardless if this woman wins or loses, specifically if she loses, the crowd still goes crazy for her. And she can still get the crowd over regardless in a mere 10 to 15 seconds. Miss Parker, you're killing it. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, I was excited this week. The way they kicked off NXT, especially with Lash and Jada Parker. Although at the same time, I was heartbroken because I knew, like, somebody was going to take an L of
Somebody
it.
got to lose.
Somebody's got to lose. But the fact that they were giving these ladies the opportunity, front and center, kick off the show, and to go at it, I really enjoyed it. Of course, I am a huge Lash Legends fan, so seeing her get the dub was great. But I also like how they kept Jada looking strong in the end. Jada, kind of goes ham at the end, puts Lash to the barricade. Just keeping this thing going, keeping the win at both of these ladies' sales, and keep pushing them forward. I really like that. I can't wait to see like what's next for Jada, as well as what's next for Lash. Because I really do believe like these are two future. I mean, I say future, but these Jada should at least be next in line for NXT. I want Lash to go to the main roster. But yeah, these two ladies, they tore the house down, especially to start the show. Had the right energy. Definitely enjoyed the match. And then with the thing with Javon Evans, for a minute I thought he was coming out to give some bad news. The way he was walking back and forth around, I thought something happened when Oba threw him out of the ring onto that table. He broke something, fractured something, had to take some time off. Talk about letting the fans down. And so I was a little concerned in the beginning because I'm like, oh man, not the young OG. He's on his climb right now.
Yeah.
But if he keeps taking these shots like he's doing right now, like this choke slam through the chair that he took, that looked devastating.
Yeah,
and
you got me worried for him, man.
Yeah. I mean, look. I know he's a very thin guy. He's a thin piece of leather, well put together. We'll say it that way, right? But I don't know, man. Like these shots and these things he's taking, these bumps that he's taking. I mean, it's insane, and it's going to wear down, wear on his body pretty soon, especially with, like I said, just the way it's being done. Like I still think about Ethan Page and how he tossed him off the rope onto the double chairs. He gets choke slammed through a chair, overthrows him from from out of the middle of the ring over the ropes onto a table. Like, you gotta be careful with this, but it leads to the next story that they're going to be telling, and so I'm hoping that this is a climb for Javon Evans, because I really thought that it was his turn at the last match with Obafemi for him to kind of go over and actually win the title. It didn't work out that way. So, we'll see how it happens. But Josh Briggs, whatever. That's the match. That's the match. Nothing against Josh, but it's like, look, you in the way right now. I need him to get back to Oba. Like you're in the way. But it has to happen. It's what needs to take place. And then lastly, I'll hit on this, and then I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Exclusive. Loved, of course, seeing DIY make an appearance back at NXT. It was a very nostalgic feeling for me, knowing the greatness that took place between, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa's time in NXT. Not only as tag team partners, but I have always thought their best matches and their best selves were when they were feuding with each other, when they split with each other, because of the greatness that it led to.
Yes.
And so when they came back and they were talking to, Trick, and talking about, you are a two-time, NXT, champion. And I'm also a two-time NXT champion. And he gave a shout out to Goldie. And I said, I hope a lot of people picked up on or realized what he's talking about when he said Goldie. There's like the little nugget there. And then he talked about being the Trick being the North American champion, and Joey Gargano being the North American champion. And it was just a nostalgic thing. And so of course I knew at the end they were going to end up attacking Trick. It's just the thing to be the thing that happens every single time. Trickonomics is crazy right now because he always seems to go down in the end. But yeah, it was great. It was great to see that there. And so yeah, I thought, of course, Shawn Michaels did what he does best. He put on a great show. I mean, I don't even have to touch on what happened with Jordan Grace and Mariah May still kicking butt, and then of course the Joe Hendry appearance. But great show as usual.
Yeah. Look, NXT is NXT. We know how we do. We're here. or you're here. It's gonna be one of the two. That's just how NXT rolls. That's the Shawn Michaels standard. Look, NXT was a great show as always. I agree with you guys. You know, seeing Lash going up against Jada was a tough one for me because, I mean, it's cool that they have this rivalry, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't really want them to like go up against each other. Like, it's hard for me to choose one or the other. See, in this type of match, we all win. no one is a loser when these two are in the ring. I mean, even if you're not fully focused on the match, you're just sitting there smiling the majority of the time. You're just happy. It's like, I just like to see these two women go at it in the ring, and I just love everything they kind of build. They're trying to build for both of these stars, and neither one of them have to have a title to be as good as they are, or have the standard that they have right now. You touched on it beautifully, where it's just like, Jada could lose and it doesn't make a difference. She do a couple moves and everybody absolutely in love with Jada Parker. Like, she has main roster aura. Lash is, definitely destined for the main roster. But I feel like if at some point I need to see one, if not both, get some type of NXT championship. I feel like when they do go to the main roster, it'll just help out. To me, I feel like it'll help build the legacy for them. I mean, they're going to be fine one way or the other, but I think it would be a travesty to not see what Champion Lash looks like or Champion Jada looks like at some point during their reigns. That's just me, and I need that. You know what I'm saying? So then maybe when they come back down to NXT, when it's Miss Armstrong, and they have to come back down to NXT and show what they've done on the main roster, kind of with like DIY did with Trick. They have some accolades to kind of have with them. It's like Jada's unfortunately had a lot of close matches and had to come up short. I need to see what Champion Jada will look like and Champion Lash look like. I need to see that at some point. Young OG, dude, you got to take care of yourself, man. I am nervous. I am super. Yeah. When I saw my man go flying into the announce table the other week with Oba, I thought he was dead. I was like, he's done. Somebody called the paramedics. This is not good for him. And then, he comes out. I agree with the Prince on this one. He came out and looked kind of, dreary. I'm like, oh man, is he out? And we would understand because he's been slung everywhere. And then I'm just like, okay.
Slung everywhere is insane.
Yeah, right.
That was crazy.
But it's
crazy.
True. but then boring Josh Briggs. Let me tell you something, man. I don't know why they have him in the mix of anything. When he was messing up with what's my man name? I don't want to say
that was in the Culling, and then he got kicked out of the Culling.
Yeah, he got cut out the Culling, and then he interfered in the championship match. What was his tag team partner name? I always destroy the name. I don't want to say it wrong. God, the guy he was with the tag team partners with before Oba and them had the match.
Yeah, he's got like the mustache and the curly.
No, he's the Japanese
Japanese guy.
Inamura.
Yeah. So then he starts getting in the way with Inamura, and I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, he just seems like that person that just that you're around that's just screaming for attention, and you like, dude, I don't want nothing to do with you. Just
pick me.
Just please go somewhere. You come out with Undertaker's music. You dressed up like a fake acolyte from 1997 when they used to come out with the road jackets when they were part of the Ministry of Defense. Just Ministry of Darkness. My fault. Ministry of Darkness. I just get going somewhere, brother. Nobody cares. Shout out to Trick Williams for being Trick Williams. He's been amazing. Love everything he's doing right now. Love to see DIY come back down there. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I started thinking, ooh, can we get like a one of DIY versus Trick Williams? They started having your brother thinking a little bit. That would be pretty cool to see. But just seeing them two come out was crazy because like you think about all the greatness that they put together when they were going up against each other. When we used to see my man Tommaso Ciampa come out there, no music.
No music.
The belt. My guy, just straight nasty. Just loved it, man. And Johnny, his fight to get to the top was just, within itself something great. So I loved everything there. And then of course for me, Joe Hendry. I see where they're going with all this. He hasn't really been on TNA that much. So the contract must be a lot closer to the end than we think, because he's been doing a lot of the TNA stuff on NXT. To kind of, I think, show the NXT faithful who don't know that much about Joe Hendry, to kind of show them what made him popular on TNA. and made him popular just in general. So I love it. I'm still, there's so many different storylines at NXT. I don't know where they're going to go, but I'm still here to watch it because it's either good or it's great. So I'm good with it. Good with it.
Yeah, man. Look, I loved NXT, man. I love what they did this week. Yeah, but I definitely agree with you, man. Josh Briggs, I just don't know
Why is
what
he
it
there?
is. I just don't know, man.
Get
Don't
out of
get me
here.
wrong, he kills it in the ring. He kills it. But yeah, man, him coming out with the Undertaker, Loki, I know people was hot. I mean, even had
That was
Javon kind of, yeah, it was.
That was good.
It really made everybody think. And then it was like Javon looked over, and it was like, Josh Briggs.
And then you get the Overtaker, not the Undertaker. I don't want that guy. Get him out of here. Go.
I said, man, come on, get this guy Josh up out of here. But yeah, man, I agree with you definitely, Mr. Exclusive with Lash. Definitely, we got to see a champion Lash, got to see a champion Jada. And honestly, this is what the North American Championship is for. This is what the damn title. But again, I'm not mad about Sol Ruka having the championship.
Right.
But we're not doing anything with her having the championship right now. Sean, this is my only gripe. My only gripe right now. This is my only issue. Is Sol Ruka. We love Sol Ruka. We love the Soul Snatcher. But give her some more title defenses, man. She got to start defending out on a regular or have her drop it.
Well, E, that's a mid-card title problem in WWE. It's been like that for years. I mean, remember back in the day when, like, I think it may have been Miz. He was like U.S. champion for months.
Oh God,
never defending the title. They used to do that a lot, and they still do it. Like the minimal title defenses for your mid-card titles. Your mid-card titles are there, so your heavyweight championship matches are not as much as like when they happen. They're like, oh, we're getting that world heavyweight title. Those other matches are supposed to be there to give you something to look
forward to,
right? And they don't do a good job. That's on the women's front. That's on the men's front. Like, what is this? Like you got the titles. Don't just hang on to them.
This is what the storylines are there. This is why you give people the titles to create the storyline.
Exactly. And they do terrible jobs of building mid-card story. Every now and then they'll hit on one. You'll be like, oh, this is a good one. Like I feel like what Chelsea Green was doing for a while was like, okay, these are good.
The Becky Bailey and Lyra one. That was good.
They started cooking with that. They could have something potential with somebody we're gonna talk about in a little bit. But that's what I'm talking about. Like they just come on, guys. What are we doing?
Saying, bro, like
what they're there for.
You can give them the titles and literally just. And I always saw when you give somebody a mid-card title, that is literally saying, hey, if we give you this, you might be good enough to get that next one, depending on who the person was. So I mean, yeah, I agree, man. They got to do something with it. I don't get that. And you use those titles, those mid cards, to build up your young and up and comers, like a Carmelo Hayes or Roxanne Perez, Stephanie Valkyrie. All these people we just literally naming. A Jada Parker, a Lash Legends. Come on.
Hell, is Ethan Page even defending the title at this point? Like right now, he's been talking a lot. I
think the last time he defended it was 2 PLEs ago, because the last PLE he did a tag team match.
Right. So you just got him holding on to the Canadian championship. Just had him hold on to the North American Canadian championship. Nothing. Come on, guys. Like, you got titles. Use the people. Let them show their talents. Like,
it could all be easy. I'm telling the creative, like the writer's room, it could be easy if you let the wrestlers cook. They can give you stuff. They can. They really can. Oh man. But we talked about the great things that happened with NXT. Now it's time to talk about the best part of the end of the week with Friday Night SmackDown. And I ain't gonna lie. Now, SmackDown, back in the U.S., in Chicago to be more specific. And you know how it goes in Chicago. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, this probably is one of the best crowds. next to Long Island. I don't care what people say, okay? Long Island crowd still goes crazy. No, but they're in Chicago. It was already talked about, it was declared that this was John Cena's last SmackDown appearance. To be honest, I think this is a little early, to be honest, man. It's a lot of stuff that happened before SmackDown. There was a lot of talks. It was, that John Cena's last match wasn't going to be in Boston. Okay, they talked about that for a little bit. That's going to be in DC. But John Cena came out. He starts off the show, thanks the crowd, talks about everything he's done, how the people that's been there for him. This was kind of crazy, man. I ain't even gonna lie. This truly was kind of crazy. He even talked about just the first moment when he walked down the ramp, slapped Kurt Angle. Man, this is just really crazy for me, man. For me, this is kind of very personal in a lot of ways, man. I never thought I'd be saying this about the Never Seen 17, man, but I mean, really, like, this man really talked about, like, I really watched this man's first match. Met him when I was 10, when he was the doctor of thugonomics. And then when I turned 30, he turns heel. Granted, the heel turn wasn't too crazy. I mean, it was, but part of the title reign wasn't that crazy. But it was still crazy. And now this man's on his last farewell. John, man, kind of coming to tears a little bit in my eyes. I ain't gonna lie. But, besides that, John Cena's talking, and of course, Sami Zayn comes out. Sami Zayn comes out. I ain't gonna lie, the crowd started booing. Now, I gotta understand a little bit. Why? Because, we wanted to see Solo still with the U.S. Championship. Of course, just like we talked about those mid-titles. But you gave it to Sami Zayn. And the funny thing is, we told y'all this was going to happen anyway. Because we knew sooner or later, because he was already in that picture, they were probably going to put it on him. And not all of us were really happy about that. But if y'all did that to make this moment happen, then in some way, shape, and form, I understand. Granted, premature, but I understand. Because Sami Zayn came out, talked about the first moment that he had with John Cena back in 2015 on Monday Night Raw when John Cena was a United States champion, giving out the John Cena Open Challenge. Now, like I tell people all the time, this was a time in John Cena's career when this man was cooking. You couldn't see the five moves of doom. Nah, this man was giving you at least 30 to 35 to 40. Doing Canadian strong. Oh, he was doing everything during that time. Sami Zayn was one of those people that debuted, coming from NXT, going to the main roster. Of course, as we know the story, Sami Zayn damn near injured himself trying to get the crowd hyped, throwing his arm up. But he still had a banger of a match. And that being said, Sami brought that same thing and asked John Cena if he can take on the mantle of having the U.S. Open Challenge. Says if you want some, come get some, and wanted John Cena to be the first competitor. John Cena accepts. Then we flash forward to the actual match. Now, at this point, John Cena was pulling out every single move from all the people that he's faced. Okay, he hits Sami Zayn. What a go to sleep. Okay, then, all right, he gets to the corner. All right, and he starts acting like Edge. For my AEW people.
You think you know me?
Edge. I can say it.
I see it clearly.
But he starts acting like Edge. Okay, getting his hair crazy, looking insane. Spirit Sami Zayn. Michael Cole, you're diabolical for trying to say he goes back to his time with Roman Reigns. What part of that did that even look like Roman Reigns? None. But Corey Graves, I thank you for saying he's talking about another Canadian wrestler. Good stuff. I appreciate you still giving people some acknowledgement. Because Michael, I mean, come on, man. Come on. You ain't good. I get it. But come on, you can't do that to Edge with John. He didn't have one of his best rivalries with it. But anyway, spare Sami Zayn. Then the crowd started even chanting for an RKO. I said, man, y'all are crazy for this. Tries to hit Sami Zayn with an RKO. Okay, doesn't happen. But he hits an avalanche and a on Sami Zayn. Okay, now both of these men are laying down in the ring. And then freaking Brock Lesnar comes out. Come on. Goes crazy. All right. F5s Sami Zayn. Then, after the F5 on Sami Zayn, picks up John Cena and F5s John Cena. And honestly, I said, man, damn, Brock? So he is back. I mean, yeah, we knew he was back before, but now he's back. And then even after that, he went backstage and he told John Cena that he will see him at WrestlePalooza. Just leaving him laying on the ground, man. Come on. Then we flash forward to this match, man, with Aleister Black and Damian Priest. Mind you, I ain't even gonna lie, that whole John Cena and Sami Zayn segment, that was the first hour, by the way. Just to let y'all know. So if there was anything extra, I'm pretty sure something got cut. Yeah, that whole segment was an hour, which I get it. John Cena deserved it. That's your last SmackDown, man. But so we had Aleister Black and Damian Priest. The crazy thing with Damian Priest, honestly looked really good in this. Aleister Black, though, at one point grabbed the ref, tried to distract the ref. I think tried to grab him to just, I guess, try to distract Damian Priest. Hits a black mass on Damian Priest, falls on Damian Priest pretty much, gets the dub. And honestly, again, bang of a match. Didn't really care too much for the finish. Could have thought it would have been a little bit better, but still, overall, these guys delivered. Then we flash forward to the beautiful madness herself, Julia and Meechin, man. Look, I'm not going to lie. Meechin took another L. And honestly, with Kiana James being out there with Julia, I get it, right? Mia Yim, jeez. Meechin hit Kiana James with the Hurricane Rana. Honestly, I ain't gonna lie, that Hurricane Rana looked devastating, by the way. But then to the fact that Julia just got her finish on Meechin, and honestly, I ain't gonna lie, man. I commend Meechin for her resistance, for her persistence, for her persistence, because honestly, the fact that you keep losing these freaking U.S. title matches, and my girl Meechin still keeps going for it, please, man, this is another woman, hasn't even smelled an NXT title, hasn't even smelled a mid-title or a tag team title. Y'all really got my girl Meechin like she's a jobber. Man, come on, man. Meechin, come on. We got to do better, man. Just shout out to my man Keith Lee, by the way. Then we flash forward to Charlotte and Alexa Bliss, man. Look, they was talking, of course, Charlotte, trying to figure out what they're going to do, talking about her being injured, her being hurt, trying to come up with some revenge plan to get Chelsea Green and the Secret Service. And honestly, I thought this was a pretty nice little segment, Alexa Bliss saying we have to use our friendship power or the power of friendship. I thought it was interesting. And of course, more and more, day by day, we are kind of seeing this tag team become something. And I'm not going to say it's growing on me, but I'm just to the point now, I feel like I'm just getting used to these women together. So we'll see how that goes. And then we flash forward to this man, Seth freaking Rollins, man. Look, he came out with the crowd. He introduced, Becky Lynch, the man. Talks about Becky Lynch and talked about CM Punk. But when he introduced the man, he said, "This is my wife, my hot wife, the man." I said, you know what, Seth? For you to be a man and call your wife the man, I really question who is the man in the relationship. But you know what, Seth, you're still killing it. Okay. But I mean, honestly, this was good. Okay. He calls for Becky. Becky comes out, of course, got the aura, got the music, love it. You see how they match it, the orange with the look. I mean, I don't know who their stylist is, but dude, you're killing it with them. Well, Seth's fit last week with the all black. I said, yo, Seth, this is one of my favorites. Anyway, Becky comes out. She's out there and she's about to talk about Punk. Punk comes out. Okay. Look at Becky. Becky and Seth. It's almost like Where's Waldo, but you know exactly where Seth is because of what he's wearing.
He's a Chicago Bears fan. For those, that's why the outfit. Yeah, that's why he's got the Chicago Bear colors on. And if you notice, Becky doesn't mention when she talks about all the trash teams, She named every Chicago team except the Bears.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That's the first. That's the first team she should have named. That's the first team she should have named. Go Pack Go.
But that's her hot husband's favorite team.
Her hot husband is hot trash. But that's besides the point. Continue, sir.
We see CM Punk. He comes out. CM Punk comes out. Of course, he's going to talk to Becky. Becky is already antagonizing him. You see, they got the spotlight on set. Becky saying everything. And of course, Becky antagonizing CM Punk again, putting their hands on CM Punk, slapping him around, slapping him in the face. I mean, this was pretty crazy. Then to the point where CM Punk gets out of the ring. And he says he would never put his hands on a woman, but he knows somebody that will. And who comes out? His wife, AJ Lee. Let's light it up. Let's light it, light it, light it, light it. Let's light it up. Light it, light it, light it, light it. Let's light it up. Yeah.
Woo!
I mean, it's just, AJ Lee's music, man. I don't know. That music always gets me. I just be ready to get a little bop in. But yeah, man, AJ Lee comes back. Crowd goes crazy. Now, the thing is, Loki was already spoiled. How did that already get spoiled? Well, of course, the fan not even text, they tweet WWEshop.com on X. And whoever the idiot was on the X account for WWE Shop literally said, yeah, we got AJ Lee stuff coming out. You idiot.
Somebody got to coach him.
Stupid idiot. Somebody got to coach him.
Somebody got to coach him, bro. Either that or terminate it.
Somebody got it. Yeah, because, at that point, man, how do you drop that ball? How do you even say that? Anyway, you see AJ Lee. She's over there looking, CM Punk with the look of approval. You see the poster AJ Lee. Why did they know that? Because, of course, it was already leaked. We knew about AJ Lee.
She looked like Paige, though. That poster.
Low key.
I was like, no, they Paige.
As pale as that picture is, I get it now. I definitely get it. And, of course, AJ Lee does a little skip going around the ring. She skips to her Lou to the point where she gets the man and she puts her hands on the man. I mean, beating the hell out of Becky Lynch a few times. Good classic drop. Nothing too crazy from AJ Lee. I mean, just, classic what I would see from, AJ Lee, because, she was in those tween years. Yeah, those years where it was a lot of mid women's wrestling going on. But, hey, it ain't like that now. But we know it's high stakes wrestling now for these women. But yeah, AJ Lee slapping Becky Lynch, slapping her around, beating the hell out of her. AJ Lee, CM Punk, they celebrate. And of course, Seth Rollins ran down the ramps, running over, hopping, and them just both looking sad. And honestly, this is the finish right here. Oh, man. Look, I ain't gonna lie, man. SmackDown for the last couple of weeks has not been the craziest that we've seen, from Sami Zayn winning the title last week. That was just ridiculous. From, the greatness of NXT that happened on there. But I mean, but we talking about from SmackDown that was going on for the last few weeks. Yeah, they weren't hitting on nothing. This week wasn't too bad. For John Cena, loved it. Again, emotional for me. I did just. It's like, I really watched this man wrestle the whole, first 24 years of my life. This is crazy, man. Just, it's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing. But then again, also, got to talk about really just Becky Lynch, man. I think Becky Lynch, again, killing it like I've been saying it for Raw, killed it on SmackDown. Again, but yeah, if nobody knew about that, if that leak did not happen with AJ Lee from X, I think the pop would have been even louder. Because it would have been something we would have never expected at all. And I think that really would have shocked people. But the fact that I don't know who or what, or well, of course we know when, and we know how. But why this happened is insane. And why this was even let out, or why this wasn't approved before it was put out is insane. Why are y'all not proofreading these things before it's posted? You would think $1 billion company, y'all got these kind of checks and measures. that was crazy to me. But again, they delivered a lot of stuff. They delivered. You had John Cena having his last match on SmackDown. You brought back Brock Lesnar. Okay, not mad about this. You brought AJ Lee, came in return, looked solid. Good night, and it was a great show for anybody that went in Chicago. Y'all definitely got your money's worth. Heartbreak Prince, what are your thoughts, man? What you think?
Yeah, this is not a whole lot to say about this. I mean, this was a very like succinct show. Like it was John Cena, Sami Zayn. Love what they had going on there. But of course the big thing of it all was Brock coming out. Brock looks bigger than he did before. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
What are you eating, sir?
What is happening on that ranch, man? But he came out and destroyed, John Cena. I'm really liking the build they're starting to put together for this rematch between him and Brock, or not rematch, but another match between him and Brock coming up here at WrestlePalooza. It was even funny hearing Brock Lesnar having to say the name WrestlePalooza. And of course he had to add the BITCH at the end to make it just sound better. I'll see you at WrestlePalooza. Yeah. But yeah, I said, man, they could have done my man a little bit better favor than that with a better name. But that was dope. Of course, what everybody was looking for, waiting for, was to see AJ Lee come out. That was being that it was leaked, and the setup for it. At first, I didn't like it. I'm like, man, why is Seth Rollins way up here and his wife is in the ring with CM Punk? Like, if it's me, I'm going down to the ring too. Like, I'm not gonna leave my wife standing in the ring with this.
You a coward now?
Yeah, with this dude. But I don't know if y'all caught, but the way he came over the barricade at the end, like,
yeah.
Like how Becky would. That's the thing.
Yes, I said Seth Rollins is a fool. The way he just kind of fell and flopped over the barricade to get to his wife. That was hilarious. But yeah, no, I mean, AJ Lee, I just want to say, was a stud. I mean, just she looked good. She was in shape, abs, just she looked good. She looked like, look, she's been training. She got in the ring and went ham on Becky. Like, man, I couldn't tell that she hadn't been in the ring in years, and she did a great job. The crowd, the energy. I feel like they robbed her just a little bit though, because if they didn't know that she was coming, I can only imagine how much more that pop would have been seeing her come out. But it was still a very good pop, But just the chills that I imagine she had to have being in Chicago. The crowd's going crazy. And then she goes in and goes to work on Becky. I mean, she looked really, really good. So I'm excited to kind of see how this develops. I don't know, and I don't know if they've said, y'all might have heard, whether this is a like full-time like comeback to WWE, or if this is like, she signed for a few matches or something. But if it is, I would love to see AJ Lee, Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship match that would take place, and I think that would be. I think that'll be fire.
Yeah, man. They got some good things cooking up. I agree with you guys. There's only a couple of things really to talk about in this one. I will say real quick, Julia and Michin, hopefully at some point Michin gets what she deserves. Yes. She is another one of those wrestlers that just been passed over, and at least let me see what that title reign looks like. Let me judge and say, okay, it wasn't bad, it was good. I need that at least one time for her. Right. I think they're kind of doing Julia a disservice, like they gave her the title quick and people still don't know her. She doesn't have, unfortunately, in WWE so far, she doesn't have the Stephanie Valkyrie swag, like people are aura. Yeah, the aura is there, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she doesn't have that yet. Can she get it? Most definitely. But I'm afraid that she may end up falling back a little bit, because I don't think they properly did everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, they gave her the title. I think they're doing a good job of having James there with her, but it's just, I feel like it's just not there. It should still be Chelsea Green's title. That's the thing. It should be still Chelsea Green's title for her to continue to build this thing up. That part is what I will always say. But I wanted to at least say that, and once again, figure out the mid-card titles, y'all. Now, Cena and Sami Zayn. I thought that it was a nice play for them to come back and, mention the U.S. challenge and do it all that way. I thought that was a really good deal. And, I'm glad that it kind of worked out, in that favor. I don't want Sami Zayn being United States champion. I don't understand why Solo's not the champion. And if you look, you took it from Jacob and you took it from like a couple months apiece. They only had it for like 2 months apiece, if that. And then I feel like neither one of those reigns were legit enough for me to like enjoy them. They didn't last long enough for me to enjoy them. And now you give it to Sammy, the lovable loser, who's gonna, I guess, sneak a couple of victories in here. He's always been a solid mid-card champion, but I don't care. Like, why does he have the belt again? If you're the whole purpose was to try to get this man a world title. Now all of a sudden it seems like they're pushing away from that, at least on the low. Like they're pushing away from that, and then maybe just, maybe they've reached it. They started changing their plans. They are around the time where they're starting to formulate those WrestleMania plans on the low. Once Survivor Series and that point on, that's where they are. So I just felt a little some way about that. Great match though. I love the match overall, so I won't never take anything away from Sammy on that front. Just a great job there. Seeing Brock come out, Brock looks great. I care, but I don't care. Like, if he's there part-time, like popping in every now and then, I'm cool with that. But I don't want Brock to be world heavyweight champion ever again. I just don't want to see that. Don't care about that. He's perfect the way he is right now. If he stays that long, depending on the whole Janelle case and all that stuff, as long as it stays the way it is, and he's popping in occasionally to be a disruptor, I'm cool with that. But I don't need him full time. And then AJ Lee, man, I'm gonna tell you what, guys. I was a big fan of AJ Lee when she came out. She was killing it the first time around. And she just has this look, like she had such the innocence / crazy look that, like, the type of girl that you fall in love with, that you're not supposed to fall in love with. That's the vibe that she had. It's like, man, I was like, I don't need to fall in love with this girl. She's crazy. But then she looks at you the way she looks at you, with the head tilt and the look into the eyes. And I'm like, bro, like, how do I not melt?
If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
How do I not, melt when AJ Lee is staring at me? I mean, I saw earlier this morning, they showed the clip of when AJ Lee kissed CM Punk that first time when they were on, when they were back in, I guess it was 2014 or whatever the last time Punk was champion. And she kissed Punk. And the way she looked at Punk and everything, just the whole everything, the way she handled it, I said, man, how could you not fall? If he didn't fall in love with her at that moment, then I don't know what was going on. But it was just the way she handled herself. It was just amazing. Like, I really loved her for her character, her in-ring ability. She was a little bit above the rest at that time. And now it's going to be fun because now we get a chance to see a couple of wrestlers potentially that were super influenced by her. I'll be honest with you. I want to see her and Roxanne Perez. That's the one that I'm like eyeing more than anything. Yeah. Like, there's pictures. I saw a picture before, you guys got on earlier with her and they showing her dressed up and crying and all that. Like, that's going to be a full circle moment for Roxanne Perez. I can't see how she'll be able to even have that match without tearing up, because that's how much she meant to her. But I say all that to say this. AJ Lee being back is one of the best things for WWE. She looks in phenomenal shape. She looks like she is ready to go right now. We've seen her wrestle on heels.
Yep.
And I think I can't remember if she was on Glow or not. But
no, she wasn't on Glow, but she was definitely on heels.
Punk was on Glow though, right? Punk was on Glow.
He popped
so when she was on heels, she looked good then. And I said, okay, she's obviously still been training all this time. I saw clips of her and Punk training a while back. She still has it. It's not like Nikki Bella, who comes back, I'm back, guys. Look, it's me, Nikki Bella. I'm pretty.
You can look, but you can't touch.
And all that stuff, Other than that, it's like you could tell she's been in shape. So I'm excited to see her come back. The pop was amazing. I got a cold chill. I was sitting there. I was like, oh, I knew she was coming back. I knew she was coming back because of everything. And I still was like, yeah, this is so cool. I geeked out, I saw like wrestling podcasters or people that does videos crying, tearing up because AJ Lee was back. And that tells you the impact that she made while she was here. And she left. A lot of people feel like she left too soon or left early, and they never got a chance to see her full potential. And it's so good to have her back. So
Let's light it up.
I'm pumped, man. So I'm glad. I'm so glad to see AJ Lee back, man. This is great. This is great.
Let's light it up. Let's light it.
Woo! And her music is a banger.
No, it is. It does go. It goes.
All right,
how could you not want to dance up to him?
That's why she's skipping around the ring. She got so much energy. She didn't slow down. And you know what's crazy? Like, they showed the post video. She did that for another like 8 to 10 minutes. They were just twirling in the ring and dapping up people, and everybody just cheered the entire time. I'm like,
skipping to her damn loop. Just
skipping. Just out here skipping. She picked the belt up. She was cheesing. She was doing poses. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's AJ Lee." It's great. I'm happy to see it back.
It was great.
Happy to see it back.
Oh, one thing I guess, I mean, the WWE ain't really putting too much pressure on it. I guess we don't. Of course, Jade and Tiffy. Jade and Tiffy, had another backstage.
Oh, that's happening?
Segment. Yeah, they had another backstage segment, man. I ain't gonna lie. It's just
why?
It's just and Nia just keeps getting put into the mix of this. Come on.
It's stale, man. They got to figure something out. That women's title don't need to be just dangling like that. That's crazy.
No, it don't. It don't, man. And it's really criminal as to what's going on with it, man. That's why it's just like, well, if WWE don't care, why should we care at this point?
Exactly.
Like, I just don't know, man. I'm telling you, ever since Naomi cashed it in, that story just died down. I think it lost its spark after that, because I just don't feel like there's anything there. They gotta. I mean, at this point, if you involved Lash with Nia Jax, at this point, throw Lash into this.
Man, give Chelsea Green the women's WWE title right now.
I'm good with that.
It would be entertaining, my man. If that's where they need to go. Give her the belt. But you know what? I'm just here so I don't get fined. So whatever. They don't listen to.
Man. Oh, man. But as always, please make sure y'all follow all of our social medias. Y'all already know what I'm about to say with this, man. Come on. Facebook, we on that. X, we on that. Instagram, we on that. TikTok, we're on that as well. We appreciate all the love and support you guys been showing us. A shout out to J Movie Mania. Shout out to my man Chris from Heels for Life podcast. Shout out to my man OVW, my man Joshy. Shout out to Idris for giving us a follow on TikTok. Shout out to the OG, Big Route, the photographer, always showing us support. And honestly, we appreciate all the love and support you guys have been showing us. Just subscribing, liking. Hey, shout out to my man Zach, of course, as always, man, giving us the international days every time we upload or go live. Always appreciative of that. We just appreciate it, man. We really are. But of course, keep doing that so we can keep giving y'all that content the exclusive way. Come on, man. Y'all already know what it is, man.
We in there.
But we talked about some of the great things with Monday Night Raw, with the New Day, the whole funeral situation, Finn Balor, LA Knight, Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Big Jen. And of course, we talked about with NXT, Chef Sean hooking it up with Lash Legends, Jada Parker, the young OG, Obafemi, the ruler, Josh Briggs. And of course,
Josh Briggs, man. Why? Why, man? Like,
and of course, we had to talk about SmackDown, with everything with John Cena, the last run, the final tour, Sami Zayn, Brock Lesnar coming back, Aleister Black doing some stuff. But of course, with Charlotte and Alexa, and, with Becky Lynch, the man, and AJ Lee making her return. This was a good week, man. I'm not going to lie. This wasn't bad. This was not bad. But as always, I am your humble host, your man, your myth, your legend, Eric Knight. And we had the legacy make himself Mr. Exclusive. And we had the one man and the only man that can check you into the Heartbreak Hotel. And that's the Heartbreak Prince himself. Because we are the Exclusive Knights, and we always ensure that we are the best there is,
best there was,
and the best that ever will be. to ensure that your nights will
never
be
be
the
the
same.
The same.
That's trick.
Thank God. We out.